show because why not? And the whole point of Uncensored is my way of showing people that even if a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there who are dealing with any types of disabilities or learning disabilities. That you should never give up, and you should prove to you and to them you can still master something. Now, with that being said, a half hour, 45 minutes of your time. Starting off, what can you tell us about yourself? And first question is, are you in a classroom?
No, this is my room actually. Behind me, you can see I have a world map there with places that I've visited and places that I want to visit, as well as some wrestling posters and newspaper clippings. So I'm a professional wrestler. I'm 26 years old. I live in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. I've been wrestling for the last 10 years, and I started training at the age of 14. So basically, my entire adult life, I have been involved with pro wrestling.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to ask you some easy questions, some hard hitting questions, and then I'm going to pass the show over to you, and you're making a new friend out of it.
Sounds good to me.
Now, first, starting off, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. If people want to follow you on social media, are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, I am on Facebook and Twitter. I don't have an Instagram account. I think it's pointless. So Twitter, you can find me at Kaitlin Diemond, KaitlinDiemond, and Facebook is facebook.com/Kaitlin.Diemond.
What about LinkedIn or MySpace? Do you use those or no?
No, I did use MySpace like 10 years ago, but I haven't been on there in a long time, so you can't reach me there.
I miss the old MySpace. Do you like the new, all on subject, do you like the new MySpace or do you hate the old MySpace? I mean, let me rephrase that. Do you miss the old MySpace or do you hate the new layout? I hate the new layout, but I miss the old one a lot.
I haven't been on there, like I said, in about 9 or 10 years, so it's hard to say. I don't even know what the new MySpace is.
It's really bad. It's basically like an Android layout. You have these different little blog things, and it just slides over from page to page. It's really terrible. If they went back to the basics, to your picture, send a message, chat, add friend, and you know I talk with my hands. I do that sometimes. I'm just giving you a perfect example. It's like a little box. You have these little chat things in it. That would have been great. I was always on MySpace 24/7. My biggest regret was I had over 1,000. I was constantly adding people. I had over 1,000 people on there. Band members, gothic girls, wrestlers. My biggest regret was I didn't have my talk show then. This is going back 2006, 2008. So that was my biggest regret. Plus, I had older people. I had the numbers. All I had to do was get a firecracker out of my ass and saying, hey, you have this great format. You have all these people together. Well, like, hello, hello. But, you know, I got sick out of it. I was sick at the time. A long story about that. I worked in retail. Um, yeah, I don't want to bitch to you about that. But I will actually just one question while on the subject. Have you ever worked in retail, and when did you finally had enough?
I don't think I've ever worked in retail. I worked in a call center, which is probably worse. I worked there for 5 years, and I hated every single day. And I quit when I moved to Mexico 2 years ago for wrestling. So that was a great day.
I worked for North Face. I worked for Skechers. Let's see, where did I work in the Commons? Well, first question is, have you ever worked? Worked? Have you ever visited to Woodbury Commons or heard of it?
Heard of it? I can't say I've ever been there.
I worked over at North Face for a good 4 years. Worked at Skechers. Wanted to quit on my first day. I was only there for the holidays, and I threw my hands up. I had enough.
Yeah.
Let's see, whatever help did I work in? I worked at Home Goods for a little bit. I worked at Target for a little bit. I worked at US Polo for a little bit. And I don't know, it's just retail. And it gets to me, everyone in my family had a learning disability. And it gets to me because like they overcame their goals, obstacles, and they reached their goals. One became a school teacher, one's a poetry writer, the other one is an internet sensation, the other one's doing whatever. And I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, go talk to your brother. I'm the youngest out of four brothers and one sister. So the one ahead of me is like, oh, go talk to your brother. He has connections. He can set you up in the city, interviews. And it's like, okay, what about me? You have a learning disability. You're another case. You're another whatever. We don't know what we're gonna do with you or what your life is gonna turn out. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot. So for the longest time, I had that jam down my throat. Had people saying I had a learning disability. I was never going to amount to anything. I was going to be a burden for someone. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to show you and everyone that even with a learning disability, that doesn't define me, that doesn't label me, I can still amount to something. I can still reach my goals in life. And that's what it was about. It's proving to people saying, hey, I was labeled this, but look at what I'm able to accomplish. And that's basically the whole purpose of my talk show. Saying if you're deaf, blind, or you're in a wheelchair, and there's things you want to do, learn how to play the piano, you should never settle for less, number one. And you should prove to people you can still mount to something. And you're a perfect inspiration. You start now passing the show over to you. You're showing that this isn't a man's sport, but women can still prove that you have great matches, and there's a ton of great women out there that I bet you using it for inspiration for, like Gail Kim, is a perfect. She is one of the greatest Asian wrestlers ever. You look at Trish Stratus, she's a Barbie doll and a model. But she opened the door for in-ring competitors saying, hey, I may look like a Barbie doll, but I can still kick your ass. You look at Velvet Sky, Angel Love, all these other women. Now, passing it over to you, this isn't all about me, I apologize. Passing it to you, who influenced you? 1, how many years have you been doing this? 2, and what are your goals? What companies do you want to work for?
Well, mostly grew up during the Attitude Era, so I would say Trish Stratus, Lita, China, Ivory, Molly Holly, Victoria. Those girls really influenced me. Like I said in the intro, I've been wrestling for 10 years. And I've always had goals of traveling the world wrestling. My biggest goal, of course, would be to work for WWE, which I have done extra work for them before, which was awesome. I have lived and trained in Mexico and wrestled there. And another goal of mine would be to go to Japan. So there's still a few things left that I want to do.
Oh, that's awesome. So you have worked for WWE before?
Yes.
So you are a former WWE superstar?
Not exactly. I was an extra. So basically, you watch WWE? Definitely do. So I was a Rosa. So I would come out with Adam Rose during his entrances. I did that for 4 days. And then I got a tryout before SmackDown where I got to wrestle in the ring, which was really cool, in front of all the agents and superstars and divas. But I can't say that I'm a former WWE superstar because I've never been under contract with them.
But you did all these other extra work, so therefore it kind of falls under the category of being employed by them, right?
For a small time, yeah.
Right, so if you really want to look at it, you kind of were a part of it. Not like on the main roster, but you were a part of the company.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, where do you see yourself? Do you want to work for TNA, or do you have your sights on just working for WWE?
Just hold on 1 second. I'm going to grab the light because I can tell that it's getting dark here. That's better.
Yep.
I don't really care where I work. I just want to work somewhere where my work matters and it means something. Obviously, if I had the choice between the two, I would pick WWE because they're on TV. It's to a broader audience, and because they're a bigger company, they pay more money. So I would definitely take, WWE over TNA if I had the choice. But hell, if WWE wanted nothing to do with me and TNA came calling, I certainly wouldn't turn them down.
No, absolutely. Look at all the stars that originally got their start in WWE and now they're in TNA. AJ Styles, back in 2001, he was there. Samoa Joe got a start in WWE. Velvet Sky got her start. But they never did anything with them. It was only when they went to the other, jumped to the other side, it's when they really became something.
Right.
So I think honestly, I think it would be good because you already had experience to be in the company already. I think it would be better if you went to a small organization, got everything, more experience underneath your belt. Or when you do your video montage, I don't know if yeah, I feel old. I'm only 27. Yeah, I feel old. Do people just still do montages instead of in for videos? Like, how do you even? For perfect example, um, if you worked on a company, would I send you a montage of everything I did, or do you don't even do that? How do you get their attention?
I send resumes to people. I sent a resume in, and for Tough Enough, they wanted you to film like a 1 minute promo, so I did that as well. And they ended up interviewing me to do Tough Enough this year, but there was such a large amount of people that tried out that they didn't end up casting me in the final 40, but I at least made it past, the first round of casting, which is cool. But basically, I just do it by email. I just send them a list of my accomplishments, my training, work that I've done that, above and beyond just indie stuff. And then I send them photos and a few examples of some of the matches that I've had just to show some diversity, and I send them out.
Now, before I pass the show over, I got 3 more questions for you. Prize yourself on picking 2 women up at the same time or stacking them together. Were you ever picked up at the same time with somebody else, or ever stacked up into the corner?
I don't know. That's an odd question. I can't remember ever wrestling somebody where like they picked me up at the same time as somebody else. Probably with like a really big guy. I've been like suplexed at the same time as somebody else, but I don't think ever with a girl.
The reason I bring it up is, have you ever seen or participated in one of those? There's a lot of different names to it, but one is the human. One people call it the human pyramid or the human tower or the Tower of Doom.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that I've done one. It's been a while. I see them in almost every single triple threat match nowadays. It's kind of overdone and overplayed, so I stay away from it.
If you had to choose, I didn't mean to impose on you. I apologize.
What's that?
Oh, I didn't mean to impose on you. I know that was a dumb question. I asked you.
It wasn't a dumb question. It was just I wasn't expecting it. That's all.
Well, I'm unique. I like you cutting people off guard.
Whatever works for you.
That's true. I'm a good person. I'm a sweetheart. But I didn't mean anything by it. But while on the subject, if you had to be in one of those Tower of Doom looking things, what
Yeah.
would be the best part and what would be the worst spot?
The best part's being at the bottom, giving the power bomb, because nobody's. You're not even bumping, really. You're just power bombing somebody who's superplexing somebody else, and then you're pretending to be so exhausted that you fall over and take a back bump. That's where I want to be.
So the worst spot would probably be at the top.
Sure. I can honestly say that I've never created a wrestling move. Wrestling has been evolving for so many years before I even started that just about everything that can be created has been created. And if you do something that's new and you think no one's ever done it before, you're probably kidding yourself. My favorite moves are the ones that I have no business doing, like a shooting star press, moonsault, the red arrow that Neville does. Things like that make me go wow. But I'm not the most athletic person in the world, and therefore I don't do things like that because I don't want to hurt myself.
What about? I'm gonna shoot off a couple of moves for you. Tell me if you ever done them or ever thought of it. Uh, PD Williams move, the Canadian Destroyer. How he gets power driver, then he flips.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with that move. I've never done it, never had it done to me, but I've seen it done many, many times by PD and by imposters.
What about Shawn Michaels super kick? You know, everyone does the super kick. You know, Michaels, James Storm, Lance. Let's see, Michaels, Lance Storm, James Storm, Dolph Ziggler. You know, it's everyone does it. Like I said, it gets overused and
I'm guilty of that as well. I have done it, mostly done it when I was competing in Mexico, just because it was something that I could say the word super kick, and they understood what it meant. A lot of times with the language barrier there was only so many things that I could say in English that they would understand, so that was one of them.
Hey, now I got one more question, and I promise I pass it over to you. This is your time, after all. Do you have any funny stories of any road trips? Of you mentioned Mexico. Was that where you got your start? And do you have any funny stories, or have you ever won any championships?
Oh yeah, God, I've won probably dozens of championships and start to lose track of them after a while. I only moved to Mexico about 2 years ago, so definitely didn't get my start there. I got my start here in Ontario. All kinds of funny stories about road trips and stuff like that. You have to be more specific. Like, it's hard to think of them all off the top of my head.
All right. Now you have that flag behind you. How many places have you visited, and what are the ones you want to visit?
So I've traveled all over Canada. There's only one province and two territories of Canada that I haven't wrestled in. Done quite a few states, but not as many as I'd like. And like I have wrestled in Mexico from Monterrey all the way down to Mexico City, which spans more than half the country. Those are the only three countries that I've wrestled in. So like I said, Japan is a big goal for me. I'd love to go to Puerto Rico, Europe, specifically England, Ireland, Scotland. Basically, anywhere that's willing to take me, I'll go. I read your profile, and like you explained at the beginning of the show, that's what you're out there to do, which I think is awesome. So congratulations, and from one dreamer to another, never give up on yourself because that's really important. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. I think you're doing a great job, and it's been a pleasure to be on the show.